Daniel Sports Central, we go over a college football game preview and prediction on the Week 6 matchup between the Tennessee Vols and the LSU Tigers. Huge matchup for both these teams coming up here in Week 6. You got Tennessee's one of the top teams in the country right now. This team is ranked 8th in the nation, and they're undefeated at 4-0, taking on an LSU team that is definitely on the rise right now. They've won 4 straight. They're 4-1, and finally back in the top 25. And this is an LSU team that is at home in this matchup, and this is a huge opportunity for the Tigers to get a signature win on the season. So definitely very intriguing matchup and definitely a huge one coming up here in Week 6. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today, starting out with your team trends. Tennessee beat Florida a couple of weeks ago. 38-33 was the final score there. Big win for Tennessee, taking down to the 20th ranked team in the country there at the time in Florida. And Tennessee is also rested heading into this matchup. Tennessee did have a bye week in Week 5, so it's been a couple of weeks since Tennessee has played, but that could be to Tennessee's benefit for sure, having more time to prepare for this matchup, which is definitely, I think, one of the biggest ones of the season here for Tennessee. They're 4-0. They've already had, September was just outstanding to say the least for Tennessee, going 4-0 and beating a couple of good football teams there with, of course, Pitt back in Week 2 on the road, and then Florida in Week 4. So, for Tennessee here, this is October is a crucial month for, honestly, for any team who wants to be a national contender, because, October is the month where conference play is really in full swing. And so for Tennessee here, being a team that is very much a potential SEC contender, this is going to be a huge game for them in particular. But for LSU, they beat Auburn 21-17. They're 4-1. Of course, they took a loss in Week 1. They lost to Florida State in what was a brutal loss there. They lost the game by 1, but they've won 4 straight since, and LSU is 4-1 heading into this matchup. LSU is ranked 25th in the nation, and Tennessee is ranked number 8. Games be on Saturday, October 8th in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So LSU is the home team for this one, and your kickoff is 11 a.m. Central. Spread's going Tennessee here by 3.5. Over-under is 62, and the FPI is going LSU 58.6%. So this is one of those rare occasions where the FPI and the spread disagree with each other. The FPI going with LSU here 58%, and the spread going with Tennessee in a close one. And this is the opening spread as well, so this could change over the course of the week. Same with the over-under. But as of right now, once again, Tennessee is favored by 3.5. Series history, Tennessee leads at 20-10. LSU has won 5 straight against the Vols, and the last game was in 2017. So this is actually one of the more rare matchups in the SEC. We don't see these two teams, at least in recent history. These two teams haven't really played each other that often. 2017 once again was the last matchup. The time before that was 2011. So it's been, that's the second most recent, and then before that it was 2010. This is the 5th matchup since 2006. So once again, you can see this is more of a rare matchup in the SEC, but LSU has won the past 5. Stat comparison for this one. These are out of 131 FBS teams here, where both teams stand statistically. Tennessee is 2nd in points per game, 24th in points allowed, 4th in pass yards a game, 26th in rush yards a game, and then for yards allowed, 123rd in passing, 14th in rushing. So Tennessee is great in every single area except for one, and that's passing defense. They're 123rd so far this season, which is pretty bad. That is 9th to worst or 8th to worst in the FBS right now. But everything else is outstanding for Tennessee. Tennessee is a very strong team on offense. Once again, 2nd in points per game, and of course the passing game has been outstanding with Hendon Hooker. And defensively, for the most part, they've been pretty good. But if you're looking at yards per game in pass yards allowed, they are 123rd there, something to note. LSU 61st in points per game, 8th in points allowed, 72nd in pass yards a game, 32nd in rush yards. And then for yards allowed, 44th in passing, 8th in rushing. So LSU isn't really bad in any area. Statistically, they're not quite as good as Tennessee is. But, defensively, they've been very strong, 8th in points allowed. They're 8th in rush yards allowed, 32nd in rush yards per game. And, of course, the passing defense isn't bad for them either. And if you want to really see, of course, Tennessee, statistically, their weak spot has been in the passing defense so far this season. LSU is 72nd in pass yards a game. So they're not bad in the passing game. They're not outstanding, but it's something to keep in mind is, that could be a key to success here for LSU is in the passing game. And Jaden Daniels is a good passer. He hasn't thrown a pick yet this season, which is outstanding through 5 games. But he is also a really good rusher and a dual threat quarterback. He definitely rushes the ball quite a bit. So passing isn't quite as good, but I definitely think in this matchup, he's going to have a really good game if they want any chance of knocking off Tennessee. Your recent matches for both these teams: Tennessee, of course, once again at a bye last week, but they beat Florida the week before 38-33. Beat Akron 63-6. They beat Pitt on the road in overtime 34-27, and beat Ball State 59-10. And as for LSU, they beat Auburn 21-17, beat New Mexico 38-0. Of course, they beat Mississippi State 31-16. Turns out Mississippi State might be a pretty good football team. They beat Texas A&M huge this past weekend, so that makes that Mississippi State win look pretty good. They beat Southern 65-17, then they lost to Florida State 23-24 back on the Monday night of Week 1. So, I mean, LSU is, I'd say, that was on the Sunday night, of Week 1. But nonetheless, both teams have had strong starts to the season, no doubt. LSU being 4-1 and Tennessee being 4-0. Your key points for this one: Tennessee, Hendon Hooker, of course, continuing on the rise. I mean, he has been, I tell you, he was with Virginia Tech for a couple of years. He really wasn't a big standout with the Hokies, but, with Tennessee, Hendon Hooker has been outstanding. This is his second season with Tennessee, and this has been a really strong start to the season for Hendon Hooker, and he's a quarterback to really keep an eye on moving forward, as he has been impressive throughout this season, no doubt. Statistically, he's put up nearly 1,200 yards through 4 games of passing. That is almost an average of 300 pass yards a game. And, he's got 8 touchdowns to go with that, hasn't thrown a pick. Hooker he's really come around, and he is definitely a really strong player for this team. They're very strong on offense. Defense has potential, of course, once again, in the passing defense. That has been statistically an issue, as they've allowed an average of 309 passers a game so far this season. But the Vols should not be underestimated by a single bit. This is a team that is ranked 8th in the nation for a reason. Tennessee is showing tremendous potential early, and obviously this is a crucial game for Tennessee moving forward if they want to continue to be a big contender in the SEC. For LSU here, Jaden Daniels playing very well. Tigers look good overall. This is a team that is, I'd say, very much improved off of the past couple of seasons. This is the best LSU team that we've seen for sure since 2019. And of course, 2019, it's hard to compare any LSU team right now to that, because 2019, this team was just that good. But LSU, this team is improving, and they're definitely on the upward trend heading into the middle parts of this college football season. LSU defensively, they've been very promising. They got the home field advantage, which is definitely something to keep in mind here. LSU's got a strong home field advantage, so that's something to keep in mind as well. And this is a huge opportunity for the Tigers to get a big win. But that said, let's get to the prediction here for Tennessee and LSU, a big matchup coming up here in Week 6. I'm going Tennessee here. 31-27 is my predicted final score. This is a really challenging one to predict here. LSU, a lot to like about them. They're on the upward trend right now, and this is an LSU team that's playing pretty well. Home field advantage. There's a lot to like about LSU in this matchup. But Tennessee's offense, Tennessee is just a very strong team on offense. And even though the passing defense has been like the one weak spot for Tennessee this season, LSU isn't terribly strong in the passing offense. With Jaden Daniels, he's more, of an outstanding rusher. So I think Tennessee in the end, all around the better team, and they get the win here in the end, 31-27, although it's going to be very close, I do think, from start to finish. So probability 55% towards Tennessee. Your over 62. I'll take the under for this matchup. I do think this matchup goes under. Both defenses are also pretty good, and although I could see this one becoming a shootout, I just don't see that happening in the end. So I'll take the under, especially if it stays at 62, and Tennessee to cover the spread in the end. So that said, that's going to wrap it up for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this matchup, and I appreciate you guys watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.